Hey YouTubers, Electric Adventures here. Just a little letter to my mate Jared at Retro Revolutions. A question for him, not so much hardware related, although it can be done in hardware. There are many mods and mod chips out there and various methods of making a PlayStation 2 both region free and able to play burnt games and backups of games. But the PlayStation 2 Slim versions, which are obviously a little bit newer, have newer lasers, so may be able to last longer, and also take up less space, are a little bit more tricky because Sony cottoned on to people cracking their units, and I haven't seen a lot of guides out there for people modding the PlayStation Slim.
Hi there, thanks for stopping by again. Last time we took care of the PSP home console mod. We were putting it inside a case, giving you a controller that works, showing you how we would output a video and make it accept UMDs. So it looks like a really nice sleek unit that would appear to be a PS2 except it takes UMDs. Let's get straight into it. But like Tony said, there's quite a few ways you can actually do this. One of the more prevalent and easier ways to do it is with something called free McBoot. Now, it's fairly simple. What you're going to want to do to check out, first of all, before you even begin, is that your serial numbers match. Now this is a NTSC one, and it's below 900,000 if we zoom in there, or 9 million. There's a few reasons for that. The reason is that it was patched out. Now the original idea was to be able to introduce firmware updates on your memory card slot, but Sony must have thought that would have been a bad idea due to the limited size on your memory cards as they were. So the exploit was eventually patched out, but people were able to access the system and update a free McBoot install using the Magic Gate memory card slots. So anyway, fairly simple, fairly non-invasive, and quite a good thing to have considering there's over 4,000 games in the library, and to date I think it is the biggest console library ever released. So anyway, let's show you how to get into it, what you're going to need, and the basic myths and truths behind all this, because there's a lot of common misconceptions that you may need a particular certain game, which I'm about to show you anyway. So let's start up with tools. I'll show you what you're going to need, and for this one, not very much. A small Phillips blade screwdriver, some tape or hot melt glue gun. You can use your soldering iron to bridge out the switch if you wish, or we can just tape it down. Either way is going to work fine, but I'm going to show you both ways. The most common misconception you'll find when trying to do free McBoot and doing it yourself at home is that people say this is the only game that works. Well, there's about 16 actually, and it has to do with the .elf file, and it works with mini games and things like that. You can read into that further online, there's plenty of resources about it, but that is very much a lie. That is another example of one that works, and I've actually done it before for people and works perfectly fine. So read in to do your .elf files. I'll show you how to do all that in the description below, but it's a bit of a time-consuming process. Anyway, we're going to need a legitimate Sony memory card, because this is what we're going to use to install the firmware updates originally, and this is how we access the back door for free McBoot. You want to duplicate a copy of the game that in question that you're going to use and turn it into a launcher disc. This is our launcher disc, and it's basically a burnt or a backup copy replacement of that with some slightly modified files in it, specifically the driving.elf file, and you change it to an 86946 for file size and do all this other stuff. I'll leave that all in the description for you, fairly easy to get a hold of. But we're going to do another disc swap similar to my first episode where we did the Sega Saturn. Anyway, what else you'll need? A USB flash drive. This is going to contain the free McBoot software that we're going to actually load onto the memory card and go from there. Anyway, so without carrying on too much, get yourself a duplicate copy of the game you've chosen, 007 Agent Under Fire, or any of the ones in the list, and modify the driving.elf files for those. Okay, anyway, now we're going to get into opening up the system and what we're going to have to do to bridge it out. So first thing you're going to want to do is remove the 6 screw holes. One of them will generally be covered by a warranty tape. Open the unit up, first by pulling on one side like that, and it should just be able to. Gently open it by doing that. Very easy, you won't break it. And now we'll focus our attention on what needs to be done inside the unit. And that is actually bridging out a limit switch, which is like a little cam operated sort of like an anti-tamper, I'd say. Alright, so anyway, I'll show you both methods of doing it. Both are equally as good. The tape method is okay, but can come undone if you don't do it right. The soldering method's foolproof, can't come undone. We're going to electronically bridge it. So what I've got to do first is get this laser out, and then I'll go from there. 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your FFC cable connections are here, and there's a little one here. Pull these out before you do any of this. Method 1, the taping method, not foolproof. You have to tape it down pretty good and make sure that that little cam stays all the way down. So probably need a piece inch by inch, maybe not even that, and literally put it over the sensor like that to hold it down. I press it down so I can actually see the sensor through it, then I know that it's good and there's no cam popping up. But I'm going to actually show you the electronic way, and it'll probably be a bit more interesting. Seeing ours at Retro Revolutions, we like to try and do things electronically rather than mechanically. So now we're going to get the fan off. Remove the 1 screw in front of the magic gate in the controller right here. Take that out. Now you can lift it from the back and literally just pull the whole system out in one go. Turn the unit over, and we remove these 3 screws here. Flip it back over, 1 screw to get out. Back over, and there's 1 more screw here in the very corner. Take it out and you should just be able to remove your shields. Now you want to get the top shield off, so we're going to remove this little battery here, and if it's all done right, we should be able to just lift it off straight away like that, you see, exposing the PCB. But what we're going to do is actually take the top one off, so we'll sit it on this to protect it. You flipped it back over, remove the shielding just by lifting it off gently like that. We're resting on the RF on the bottom. Now I'm going to actually show you how these limit switches work, and there's 2 of these that you need to get out. The other one's located near the front, and it is a power switch, but they both work identically the same. So anyway, let's get our meter out and I'll show you how they work. Our meter set to ohms, we will go like this across pin 1 and pin 2, and what should happen is there you go, as it presses down it creates a circuit. Right, so all we need to do is bring a jumper from A to B. So we'll desolder this switch and we'll put a wire across it. Let's get to soldering. We're going to start with this 2-pole switch first, bridge it out. It's going to require 2 wires. Alright, so now these 2 are successfully bridged across. The one we have to find is the power switch, which is also got the disc drawer tamper, or the open one, which lets you know that the disc tray is open and stops the motor spinning. We want that to disable so that we can always have the motor spinning. Taping this one is simple. You just literally, once again, over the top of it, pull down as you come over, push down so you can see the switch. But once again, I'm going to actually go with the electric method. I'll show you why and how. So this one's known as a normally open button, but if we touch our leads together and put it on pin A, pin B here, you'll get nothing. The moment you push down the button, makes that circuit. So we need to run our wire between here and there. Let's do that now. So now the console is back together, and I've just put a little piece of tape over here to prevent any shorts to the ground. This one's got its little jumper wire on it here. Now you're fine to use this with the whole system open while doing this. With the 8.5 volt input, the ones that have the power pack, I would suggest a lot more caution if you're running the mains AC in type, where it's 120 or 240 in, because you have exposed live terminals there. So and you'll have a power supply, so just keep that in mind while you're doing it. Right, so first thing you're going to want to do is check that it all runs. So if we just push the on button now, the disc and everything should go in and spin, and if it does all that, you know you've done it correctly. Okay, anyway, so let's get on to doing the disc swap and the method of putting it all in. And what you want to do is select the mission. Now you'll need to pass the first mission to get to the driving.elf mission, which is the next one, and that will have the file that you've changed in it. So anyway, this takes no longer than 5 minutes to pass, so I'll pass it and come back to you. Okay, so now we passed that one. Whoopie do. Now we're going to do the disc swap method on the stage select for precious cargo, so I'm going to show you how to do it. Very, very easy. Easier than the Sega Saturn one if you watched that one before, so if that gives you any indication. Alright. So now that you're ready to select the precious cargo mission, you don't press anything, just leave it on that stage select, and very simple. All we do is grab it like this and put the other one in. There's nothing else more to it than that. If you watch the Sega Saturn one, it's a lot simpler. Right, so we just get our launcher disc and we go at that, stop it and swap it. So we're going to push our USB with all the files that we've loaded onto it into the USB slot on the left. So now we're back at this screen, press circle, go to mass, go to McBoot.elf, press X, then circle, circle again, and here we are. McBoot. We're going to have to format our memory card, so we're going to go across to format memory card, and we're going to press X, and this will detect the memory card, the one that you've got in your slot. Now this will delete all the content off it to make room to put your McBoot on it. We're going to press OK, and we'll wait for it to format, and the memory card is successfully formatted. Next up, we're going to go to multi-version install. Now what this does is allows you to use PAL, NTSC, the fat versions of the PS2s, the slims, everything except the 900,000 serial numbers. So basically, and now that you've got this, you can continually make McBoot for yourself. Alright, so we'll just press X, and it will ask us if we want to install it. Press OK. And then this is all it comes down to. Now when you write up your PS2 next time after you turn it on, I'll show you how it all sets up. If you've done it correctly, free McBoot installed successfully on memory card 1 will be displayed. You press OK and now it's done. We can reset the PS2 and everything here with your links and stuff and how it was made is there. Right, so now the PS2 Slim NTSC is all back together, and if we go over to the display screen, we are entered with a title for our free McBoot with all the options. Now to play those backups, which I'm assuming that's why you're all here for, and region free, we go ESR, we drop our miscellaneous backup disk into the drawer, close it, it'll detect it, then we launch CDVD and you're away. It'll flash some colours, tricking it, and there you have it. So thanks very much for stopping by again. Hope you enjoyed this and found it useful. I'll put all the links down below in the description of where to get your software and how to install it.
Tony here from Electric Adventures. Got a question for Jared at Retro Revolutions? Want to see your modification questions answered on an episode and receive the mod afterwards? Well, send your letters in to retrorevolutionsdesigns@gmail.com and you could be on the next episode of Retro Revolutions. At home, do-it-yourself modifications and don't forget to subscribe.